We are here!
Yeah!
So, welcome to today's episode. Oh no, wait, this is the first one. You're on the first one.
Am I?
Yeah.
Yay.
So, start from here. Welcome to the first episode of The Girl Who Dared to Dream. We're just chatting to girls who have dreamed, went against what society thought you should do as a female or as a young person, that have broken through some incredible stuff, overcome some challenges. And I'm here with Brittany Nash today. Brittany Nash is an incredible, very, very close friend of mine. We've known each other for about 2 years now.
Yeah.
She has 55,000 followers on Instagram and growing by the day.
Yes.
And has her journey of where she's come from. I can't wait to share it with you guys. Of where she was. She had the typical, look like you've got your life together, perfect corporate world job with the engagement, the house.
Yeah.
And you're going to share about this. So do you want to take the story from there?
Yeah.
And then to where you are now and how you just totally threw your life around, changed it up.
Yeah.
And go for it.
Yeah. Well, I guess Nicole's like a dare to dream is exactly what, we speak about every single day. And it's something that I knew that I wanted to do over the time of wanting to dare to dream. And you get stuck in a rut where you're like, go to law, have the house, have the boyfriend. And I was in uni, and I just remember doing law and studying it and working in law. And I thought that's what I wanted to do because that was the typical life that looked really good. But inside of me, I was so unhappy. And it's that moment that I was like, you're doing all the normal life, you're doing normal day-to-day things, and there's something that switches you every single day to think differently. I just remember one day I said, do I really want to do this for the rest of my life? And I was like, yeah, I really do, because this is the normal life. This is what, your parents inspire you to do. So then I remember one day I was always into fitness, I was helping people out at the gym, and I'd walk in and I'd ask the receptionist, I'd be like, hey, do you have a pen and paper? She'd be like, well, I'm like, I just need to write my little workout. And I'd do my little workout and I really enjoyed it. That was my time where I loved it the most. And over that time, I went through a crazy life. I ended up going through a breakup, and as we all could imagine, it was the hardest thing in my life. I ended up losing 15 kilos, becoming super, super skinny, unhealthy. I didn't eat because that's what I thought I had to do to love myself again, was to get really skinny and to look really good. And then over the time, I went into a really bad rut. I was partying for a year. As you all could imagine, you go a bit crazy when you have a breakup. And I didn't know how I was going to get out of it. And then one day I ended up switching back. I started eating normal again. I was drinking alcohol. And I gained about 28 kilos back. And I wasn't crazy overweight, but I was super duper unhealthy. Like, I was eating crazy foods every day. And then I remember saying to myself one day, I need to change my life and I need to go for what I truly, truly want. And like you say, the girl who dared to dream. So I literally took that huge leap of faith and dived in. I remember one day I wrote my resignation, and as your mum would do, she got super scared and super worried. And they love you and they care for you, but I guess in my heart, I knew it was the right thing to do. So almost 2 years later now, I quit my job and went all in on the fitness industry. I ran a gym for a year in Brisbane, and that was the most fulfilling thing ever. And now I'm going on to building a massive brand, Empowered with Brit, where girls can literally feel empowered to, have the body that they truly, truly deserve. Because I know that, I know what it feels like to not have the body you truly deserve, and it absolutely feels like shit. So now that I've been able to achieve that and go through what I've gone through, the breakups and the, quitting your dream job that you thought was your dream job and going for actually who you stand for, is what I truly want to empower people for. So yeah, that's a bit about my story.
I love that. And I love the purpose and mission behind Empowered. And it's so similar to the Girl Who Dared to Dream.
Yeah.
Because it stands for, what do you love? What is your passion? What's in your heart? And let's do it. So I want to go back to that moment when you're like, oh fuck, I'm going to you thought about doing your resignation to go all in on your passion and your purpose. How did you know that the fitness industry was your passion and purpose and not just a phase?
Yeah.
And how did you know that this is what I've got to do?
Yeah.
And how did you make that decision?
I think it comes down to the day that I thought I wanted to resign. I said, it's very scary. You're in a, comfortable position. You have money coming in comfortably. I knew that I knew the difference between going to work to get a paycheck and going to work because you like are fired up every day. And when I went to the gym, that's the feeling I got. And I went, well, how do I make this a reality? How do I make this a dream of mine to empower girls to change the way that I did? And, working in law, I couldn't do that because it wasn't showing people my true passion. I was working in something that I thought I had to do, or, the corporate world. And I loved getting dressed up, I'm not going to lie. But going back to that, just remember the reason why to go all in on something that you love, it comes down to when you just end up hitting the ground. Mm-hmm. And that day I had hit the ground. I was super overweight. I was very blonde. I was not my natural color, which in then returns, I wasn't my natural self. I was living this weird life and it was not me. And I just remember one day I went back my natural color. It sounds very how would you say it? Very childish to go back in natural color, but it was something for me that I knew would help me go back to the old Brittany and the happy Brittany and the crazy Brittany before you go into a life that you think you have to live and you turn into a robot. So now, 2 years later, I don't live a robot life and I live the life that I truly, truly want. So it comes down to when you feel that fire in your heart, when you're doing something, it might be knitting, it might be something, crazy. Like my friend, she loves to draw on canvases and stuff like that. And she's now made it a full-time passion and hobby, and she didn't think that would ever happen. So it really comes down to what fires you up and what makes you smile, what makes you feel like you could do it forever without even thinking. So yeah, that's how I did it.
And now I want to talk about some of the challenges you had to overcome. When you made that decision to quit your job, you would have been on a good grand a week, cushy job. When you decided to go quit, resign, you've had some ups and some downs over that. Now I want to talk about maybe what's been one of the biggest challenges, but I also want to know more importantly, rather than the situation, but the mindset that you use to overcome, and the same now, whenever challenges come up in your life now, what's the mindset you use to get you through that time, to keep you on track with your purpose and your passion, even when people still now think you're crazy, or your family still don't understand. What keeps you on track?
I think the thing that, when I quit my job and I was super scared, and I was actually really scared about money. I was fearful. I had saved a little bit, but I didn't have a lot. And when you quit something like that and going on your passion, I didn't realize, it was a massive challenge for me that I'd hit a brick wall and money wouldn't just flow in like a normal job. And you're like, holy shit, what am I actually going to do? And I remember Scott Lewis saying to me, if you just keep going, just keep doing what you love, keep adding value to the world in the way that you love, money will come in. And I just literally started doing it. And then as I knew, money started to come in. So that was a huge challenge for me, that I guess money's not everything, but people think that you need money to be happy. And the one thing that I realized is you absolutely don't. Mm-hmm. You need to live your life to be happy. And when I literally to this point, I remember I had no money left. I had spent all my savings and I was running the gym, and this is being super real, but I was running the gym and had no money left, and I was like, oh, how am I ever going to even keep going? But the thing that keeps you going and the mindset that I developed from that was persistence. I literally every day, I'd be just one more day. I remember you telling me, one more day, one more day, one more day, one more week. And I kept saying that to myself in my head. And, after a week, after a day, it just kept things kept happening and happening and happening. And then you hit a brick wall again, you'd go back down and you'd be like, shit, how do I do this again? But if you could get up every other time, you can get up again. If things are going to change, if things are going to turn a corner and go really shit, but then, you know that they went really good last time, they're going to go good again. You need to know that every time you hit a ground, you're going to go back up. You're not going to stay there. And the mindset that you develop when you stay, if you stay down there, the mindset that you develop, you end up breaking through the challenges because you're so fearless of doing what it is that you love, that when those things come into your life and you feel like you've hit the ground, you end up bouncing straight back up every single time. So yeah, one more day, persistence. And I always think of it like a mountain because I love climbing mountains. And I always think of it, if you stop halfway and, you know, you hit a hard part in the mountain. I know that there's a hard part of some mountains that I climb, and you're like, holy shit, like, this is really hard to get up it. I don't know if I can keep going. But then you keep going, and then that amazing view at the top's amazing. And I always think of that. That's the analogy that I put to my life. I'm at the hard part of the mountain right now. How am I going to keep going? Where am I going to place my hands and my feet, and how am I going to get there?
I love that. And to finish off, one last question. For someone who's watching this, young girl, maybe leaving school, out of school, not sure where they want to go with their life, definitely not loving their life, what's your one piece of advice for that person?
To keep it short and sweet, the one advice that I would give is to have a role model, have someone that you look up to, and also to remember that, this isn't in a negative way, but to remember that you are who you are, and you need to live the life that you truly deserve, because like you always say, you only live once. And I truly experienced that over the past 2 years of having to live my life the way I want, to how I used to in the corporate world, sitting at a desk all day. Go all in, just enjoy your life, just have fun. And whatever you have fun in, whatever you enjoy will come back in return. Just literally do you and have a good life.
I love that. Thank you so much, Britt, and
You're
wish you all the
welcome.
best for the future. Can't wait to see all the big things that you do, and especially as Empowered keeps developing.
Yes, and you can find me at Britt.NicoleNash, or Empowered with Britt will be launching next year. So there'll be some workshops and some mindset development. We'll be doing it across Australia very, very soon. So get excited.
You've got your own podcast coming as well.
Oh, yes.
And an app in the future I heard about too.
Yes, lots of things coming. So make sure you follow, keep watching. I will release little bits at a time, but not too fast for you all. So keep you all engaged.
But definitely get on Instagram and follow this girl.
Bye.